Is it possible to graduate from college and be debt-free? We're going to walk through, but I say yes. And the reason why is because I'm a living example of someone that did graduate from college completely debt-free. But before I walk through my story, we're going to take a look at this article because it's going to show us how over the past 10 years, the average money owed by those who graduated college has grown, okay, by a few $1,000s. So you saw in 2009, okay, and this is right, average total debt of graduates who took out loans. We're looking at a little under $24,000. And now, as of this is 2019, it rose to almost $30,000. So something that we definitely need to talk about is whether or not college is affordable and perhaps maybe who should go to college, okay, and maybe what are some good steps that you can take so that you can either graduate with minimal debt or be completely debt-free. So student loans are already a significant burden for many Americans. The national student loan debt reached $1.6 trillion, trillion with a T, in June of 2019. So this is a huge amount of the debt. And I know the US is in a ton of debt regardless, but when it comes to student loans, that's personal debt. So that's stopping people from starting their lives, starting them from buying houses, starting families, and really getting ahead in life. And I want this to be motivation for whether maybe it's someone that's on the verge of graduating high school now, maybe you're, 22, 23 years old, somewhere a little under that. You could be someone that's a little bit older. Maybe you need a little motivation to pay off said loans, or you might even be a little bit older, thinking about sending your kids to college. And I want this to be sort of a motivational video to show you that it is possible. No matter what any politician tells you, it is absolutely possible. Let me show you. So I know you're probably looking at this, and I get it. It's not a super high-tech operation, if you will, but this is, I guess, the best way I could lay everything out at one time, so I could walk you through my story of how I was able to graduate from college debt-free. So I'm going to start by saying I was fortunate enough because my older brother stopped going to college. He wound up finding a trade that he really enjoyed. So my parents were put a little bit of money aside for the both of us. So I was fortunate enough, I was able to kind of accumulate a little bit of the money that he never used simply because he stopped going to college. So my parents gave me a little under $10,000 when I graduated high school, and this was specific for me to go to college. So I started off going to a county college, and the reason for that was really I didn't have the grades to get into a four-year university. That's honestly, though it really kind of destroyed me at first, it was the biggest blessing in disguise so far in my life because it saved me from going into all this debt. What I want to really focus on today is how I was able to build upon that money that my parents gave me when I went to the county college and how I ultimately paid off my my classes when I transferred to a four-year school. So in the bottom left, all right, in those photos, what you see, and let's see if I'm pointing to it. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So in the bottom left, that's from the party rental company. I don't want to give the name out just because I don't know if the owner particularly wants the name getting out there without his permission. But that was actually one of my first jobs. I started working that job when I was 17 years old, so I was still in high school, and it became a summer job for myself. And then when I graduated from high school, this was the job that helped me build a pretty decent sized fund when I was at a county college, because in between classes, like for example, if I had classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the days that I had off from school, I was working here. And you can kind of see in the photos, we were big on setting up tents, driving off to the next event, right? Setting up some more stuff, tables, chairs, so on and so forth. So I was doing this in the summertime. Really, I was working about 55, 60 hours a week because That's when everyone would be having graduation parties and things along those lines. So I was making a lot of overtime. Now I was making a lot of sacrifices at this job because I was, sacrificing time with my friends, time doing other things. I was just focused on making that money, collecting that check, and and just saving it. That I was a big saver. Parents told me to save, and I followed by that. So after my time, I kind of lost interest in this place for a little bit, and I wanted to make a move, make some more money, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue with school. This is when I was still at a county college. So in the top left, I did start in construction. So I did it as a summer job. My father was a carpenter, so that was my foot in the door. And pretty much what you see in the photo is what I did all summer long. I helped them dig a hole, and then we had to do, our electricians had to pour, I think it's called like a duct bank. So they had to put like PVC pipes in so they could run electrical wire. And then we poured a concrete pad over it, and we had to refill, around that hole. And that's what I did all summer long, whether it was raining, it was sunshine, if it was humid. And I made a lot of money doing it, but I went back to school, so I had to leave that job. And then in the top right, that's when I started working at UPS. Now I was working at UPS, this was overnight shift, okay? So I was a full-time student during the day, and what I was doing at night from, I think it was 11 p.m. I had to go in, and then I'd get off around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, okay? And then I'd take a little bit of a nap, and 10 a.m. I'd be up moving and getting to school. So I remember specifically the sacrifices I had to make were, a lot of my friends were turning 21, and so of course everyone wanted to go out to the bars. Well, I was working, so I missed a lot of my friends' birthday parties when they would go out and have a good time, because I was working. I had my goal set in mind. I said I wanted to graduate debt free, and that's sometimes you got to make sacrifices. Not everything in life is handed to you. And what I'm trying to tell you is, if you make sacrifices when you're younger, for example, I made them when I was 19, 20, 21, 22. Now, 4 years later, I'm able to do so much more because I don't have that burden of debt. But another thing was, when I was working at the party rental company, one thing I had to do, or one thing that I did do, was I visited my friends when they went, or because they lived away at a 4-year school. And what would wind up happening is I would work the next morning. So Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, I would drive up to their school, visit them, hang out with them through the night. And Sunday mornings, I'd wake up at 6 a.m. so that I could get myself ready, drive to work, okay, the night after hanging out with my buddies at a college, so I could make some money. And I was only making like 10, 11 bucks. So maybe I made 80 bucks on the day, and that's not even including taxes. But again, had to make some sacrifices for the greater good. And now you're probably wondering why I'm in a basketball court, and that's because what I wound up doing was, after I got my associate's degree from county college, I transferred to a 4-year university, and I studied to be a physical education teacher, and that's what I am right now. So I'm really sort of living my dream because I graduated debt free. So I made all the sacrifices when I already said, 18 to like 22, 23 years old. Didn't hang out with friends on certain nights, didn't spend money on, the new clothes, the new car, whatever it was. I was pretty much wearing the same clothes for 3 years. But I made the sacrifices then. So right now, I'm basically living the best that I can live. I'm obviously living below my means. This isn't a high production product. I'm working with what it is that I have. But I'm able to just really kind of have my eyes on the prize and focus on what's ahead in life, because I don't have any debt. You might need to sacrifice a little bit of your time now. So maybe, and I know it's tough because, 2020, but maybe you have to seek out and get a new part-time job, so that way you'll be able to pay a little extra off. Or let's say you're someone that's about to go to college, and in order to build up a little bit of a fund, you might need to, you could pick any of these jobs that I potentially have. Hopefully there's something around it in the area where you live, and you can start putting money together, and you can really focus on saving that money sort of for a rainy day, but ultimately using it to pay off your tuition. So is it possible to graduate from college and be debt-free? Well, the answer is yes. And I understand that with my particular case, you know, I absolutely started off a little higher on the economic ladder. Okay, like I said, my parents were able to give me roughly around $9,000 or $10,000 for when I started going to college at a county college. But I had to pick up the ball and run with it, because when it came to going to a four-year school, I got 3 other brothers. So they said, hey, you're on your own if you want to continue your education. So that's why I took such initiative in working so many hours when I was younger, building up the fund. So I remember when everyone was graduating from the four-year school and we were walking across stage with our diplomas and we were hanging out taking pictures after, so many of them said, I gotta go find a job so I can pay off my loans. And it was a similar story sort of down the line. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, I don't have to worry about any of that. I put my work in when I was younger. I can kind of live a little more free now and focus on what it is I'm looking for in the future. So what I want you to do is, if you know somebody that's maybe on the verge of graduating high school, maybe someone's in the middle of college, maybe someone is post-college, I think they could benefit from a video like this, because I'm no big shot. I'm no all-star. And as I said, you see from the background that I'm in, I'm a public school teacher. So I'm not raking in millions of dollars. But I was able to find a way, even before I got my career job, to pay off my loans. So I think people that are maybe on the verge of going to college, in college, or maybe just about out of college, I think they can benefit from hearing from someone that is similar to them. And if they were able to do it, you know, for example, if I was able to do it, why can't you? Why can't they do it? And that's the message I want to spread today. So I appreciate you checking out the video. I'll put it on Instagram if you want to share it with somebody a little bit easier. But let me know what you think. I want to know your thoughts, because these are just mine at the end of the day, and this channel's for you. So let me know what it is. If you think that college is possible to be paid off, let me know. If you think that I was only able to do so because of the situation that I was in before I even went to college. But either way, I hope to see you again sometime soon.